Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the ROONS and MIZZ Arsenal chat. I'm ROONS,
And I'm Miz.
and we come to you every Friday to talk about all things Arsenal, from the invincible to the invisible. And
To
we're
the
teetering in
almost
the wrong
relegated.
direction, Nate. What's going on?
It's been a rough. It's been a rough time since November 1st, I guess, since we've had a win in the Premier League since that win at United, and
That was a long time ago. November
it's
1st,
a
it
yeah,
was
it's a
just after
long time.
Halloween. It's before the elections. Is like that was a different universe, it seems like.
Yeah, that doesn't look like the same team that we were so optimistic about in the beginning of the season. I mean, we were very elated with the progress. And I mean, I don't think a lot of that's faded. I think that there's some issues. I keep reading more and more stories about the issues. This read one this morning. Willian and Louise want Arteta sacked, and they're like trying to separate the dressing room. Like, I mean, come on, you guys aren't even main fixtures at the club. First of all, you came from Chelsea, and then you're both like past your prime, and
And
you guys
Chelsea's
are,
old.
yeah, and like, come on, it's just like the Ozil shit, and like it. I feel like some of it's out of Arteta's hands in general.
It's all the wrong kind of news.
It is. It's like we're a
Nothing to do
football
with
club.
Yeah, nothing to
Yeah,
do with how they're playing or what's going on the field. But I hadn't heard that. But
I
William
saw it
and
just this morning.
Louise,
Like, yeah.
it seems like Arteta has been the one who's been backing them when everyone else is like getting.
Exactly. Arteta's been playing Willian to no avail, and he doesn't do anything. Is the guy's a ghost on the field?
Yeah, what is he? And we're going to talk about discipline. But
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me,
Today's agenda, we're just going to recap the matches, discipline, and the overall form. This is, I mean, there's not a lot else we can talk about
yeah,
right now besides the
overall,
calamitous nature of the club in general right now.
yeah. But I mean, for me, the discipline isn't about the red cards, even though an absurd number of red cards, 7 since Arteta is taken
Yeah.
over. And you just wonder, why aren't other teams getting red cards? But to me, it's
Yeah.
not the overall discipline problem. The red cards, even at 7, the most in the league, is a small fraction of the problem when compared to what in the heck is going on in the dressing room and outside of the field. What are these players thinking? You know,
Yeah.
like it seems like Arteta wanted to go like, if you talk shit to me, you're not playing.
Yeah.
But then players kept talking shit to him. So he puts them in a either he backs down. Like usually when you make a statement like that, it's supposed to scare the other players into being like, okay, no one talk back anymore. But instead everyone's getting bowled off the field, and on the
Yep.
field they're a bunch of pussies.
Dude, yeah, they've shown no desire to win lately. I mean, the Burnley match is a culmination of how bad it's been. Like you dominate the match and you lose for no reason on an own goal from Aubameyang, nonetheless, who guy that can't find the net lately, hasn't had this type of record. There's something way deeper going on that like we're not aware of. That's obviously causing play problems on the field. The off field problems have like moved on to the pitch. They're not even. They seemed like a family and friends and having fun before.
Yeah.
And who did this?
I know
Like,
what soured.
yeah, is it
What
Ozil?
I mean, I think it all stems from Ozil because
I
he
do.
was
I
the
agree.
dude who was like, I'm not going to play well on the field,
Yep.
but I'm going to refuse to acknowledge that. I'm going to say you're wrong for criticizing me. And
Yep.
then that gave everyone the blueprint to be like, oh, if I'm not playing bad, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You're not on the field
I
playing,
think.
but I'm
I
going to
I
blame you.
think you're right. I think you're right. I think it is from him overall. I was listening to Talk Sport the other day, and Darren Bent was mentioning, just the whole situation. They spent a whole hour on Arsenal and what's going wrong at Arsenal because it's like there's so much wrong.
Yeah, how much
And
time do you have?
yeah, and I mean, for a radio station in the UK to dedicate only time to one club to really dive into it. It means that there's issues.
Yeah.
And they were saying that Ozil and Mustafi are the two most popular players at the club off the field, in the dressing room, like with the other players. That like they're revered as like the two guys. And I'm a
That's
little
good.
mind blown about that. I'm mind blown about that. That's what why? What
That's a cultural problem in itself.
it
Massive.
is. And you know, and that is something, you know, Bellerin shouldn't be in the media, but that is something he said last week, that Arteta is trying to change the culture of the club overall, which I'm more in favor than not, because if that's the culture that they're clinging onto, we need to move away from that. That's like not the direction.
I mean, you know, from playing sports as a kid,
Yeah,
it's the natural thing that happens with teams is that if you're one of the better players, you're one of the more popular guys. And if
of
you're one
course.
of the worst
Yeah,
players, it doesn't matter how cool you are or what you look like or, you know, what clothes you wear, what your style everything tends to work for you for popularity's sake when you're playing well.
yep,
That's
it's
just
true. Yeah,
that's a natural thing. And I can
yep.
understand even Ozil being one of them because he is a celebrity. He's a true celebrity, and they could be like, wow, you know. But Mustafi is an absolute mystery.
I
The
mean,
dude has never been good. He
never. He
uh,
was lucky to be in that World Cup squad. He found himself in a German team at a time when they maybe needed a fringe defense center back, and he has a World Cup winners medal and is probably one of the worst players that's ever won the World Cup. Like he's terrible,
I mean, that's a great point. Of all the players
right?
that have won the World Cup,
He's probably one of the worst players that's ever held the medal. Like that's crazy. I mean, for us, we've been saying he's been bad the entire time he's been at Arsenal. We've never rated him.
when he first came, I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then
And
he never did anything to make me be like, oh, that's who he is. It
he
was
makes mistake after mistake, and it's just why does he still get shown playing time?
or like, what's the difference between him and Cedric? Well, I mean, what are Mustafi's points that make him a good player? Because Cedric can't get a look into the team, but when you see him, you're like, well, he looks like a normal player who could play for Southampton. You know,
He,
he's not
he
bad. He doesn't have exceptional speed. His passing isn't bad. It's not spectacular, but you just feel like, okay, he's a Premier League level player. I don't, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, he can play in the league.
So
He's an average. You're right. He's like just average type player in the league. He's
so
not bad. He's not
what has
good.
Mustafi ever had? Like, what is his thing? Virgil van Dijk, very good in the air, very good with the ball, very good
Yeah, what's
position.
Mustafi?
You know, like what are these attributes?
When I think of Mustafi, I think of the ball coming down to the towards the back, in between the midway line and the 18. The ball's spinning, it hits the turf, and he would miss kick it, and it would go out for a corner. He would be under no pressure. That's how I see him as a player and what he does. That's like you're talking about Van Dijk being good in the air, or he can play a ball in the money cross field.
Yeah,
Mustafi is just a mistake waiting to happen always. He's not a player that is ever going to do anything great. He's scored like 3 goals at the club, and
yeah.
similar to Xhaka in this situation, doesn't do shit and scored 2 wonder goals his first year, and now everybody thinks that he has a shot. He hasn't scored in like 3 seasons.
No, and when he scores, it's like, okay, anyone can score a goal once every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
A shot from way out. That's not included as one of your weapons unless you do it
no,
at
all
least
the time.
a few times a season. At least a few
Exactly.
times a season. And that's the thing
Yeah.
with like Ozil too, is like, okay, you're a great passer, you know, whatever, but like if you're not doing it more than a few times a season, you can't even count that as a weapon. And in the past 2 seasons, he's gotten like 3 assists.
Yeah.
Like you have players like you have, you know, like Lacazette probably had more assists than he did, or you know, players who aren't known for their passing have as many or more
It
assists. It's not a weapon anymore.
it's tough though. Like I had a friend, I was talking to a buddy the other day, he's a United supporter, and was like, well, why aren't you guys playing Ozil? And I was like, dude, did you see his like records after the last couple seasons? Like he hasn't like turned up to matches. So like people still think that he's like the assist guy that he was before, but like his form says otherwise. I understand that he has the most Premier League assists in one season or something from like the first year that he
Not
joined
anymore.
us.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's
Yeah.
at 19, which was the most. Granted,
Okay.
that's
And now,
an insane
and now,
number.
yeah. And now someone's
KDB
beating,
got
right?
20. KDB got 20, but he also had like 10 goals or something like that.
And if you look at those two players, like when people compare, like I said, like Ozil has these stats. If you look at Kevin De Bruyne compared to Mesut Ozil, did you take Kevin De Bruyne in any team any day of the week? Like,
Or just his general work rate, positioning,
yeah, his
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 take action mentality,
yeah,
like
his physical
I'm gonna,
presence. The dude is
yeah,
a physical beast.
he's huge.
And Ozil always felt like it's not my responsibility to have any kind of physical presence. I don't have
I
to be.
mean,
It's like, well,
De
you're the
Bruyne
most
is probably one of the most all-around footballers in the world. I mean, his ability to like hold the ball, distribute the ball, score, hold off players, track, move field, move box to box. I mean, Ozil plays in the same position and doesn't do shit compared to that.
yeah. I mean, we watch the games week in, week out,
Yeah,
and I don't have a bad opinion of Ozil because I just don't like him because he's Turkish or something.
yeah,
Like
agreed.
I was frustrated with him even in the seasons where he was getting 10 to 19 assists a year because he might get a few in a game where we win 6-1 against Fulham, or he might get a few when we win, against West Brom, or like he pads his stats in weird spots of the season. So overall, it looks like, wow, he's a great player. But like when it counts, where is he in League Cup finals? Where is
Oh
he
yeah,
in
goes
games
missing.
against the big
Well,
stick? Where is
well,
he in,
and to
when
your
we're
point,
losing
like right,
and we need to come back? You
yeah,
know,
and to your point, right in the beginning there, like you don't dislike him because he's Turkish or whatever. You and I really liked him when he was at Werder Bremen when we were young.
I
We
know.
both were like, dude,
Loved
that
him.
dude is gonna be sick.
Yeah, like his style of play was my favorite kind of style of play. The kind of
Yeah,
almost nonchalant, looking like
yeah,
this Don style where he's just so silky and smooth, but you have to have some steel behind that. And I
totally. Yeah,
always felt that way. It was like if you don't have steel, and also a Zidane that doesn't score is not a Zidane. The thing about Zidane,
yeah.
he was silky smoothing with his pass, which was wild, but he scored goals, and he scored goals in finals, and he scored goals when it counted, and he brought the
Oh,
team back when they were losing. And
I mean, he
those
scored 2 goals in the World Cup final,
yeah,
like,
and one goal
and
that he did
Champions League final.
amazing left-footed ball.
Amazing goal. All three of those goals are amazing goals, and
Those
that
goals,
shows
that's
why he's
separate.
that good.
Yeah, and that's separate from his amazing dribbling, which was better than
Yep,
Ozil's. His
he was strong on the
vision,
ball.
his movement, like
Yeah,
also like you have one real weapon, you
yeah,
know?
it's just his passing. Like he doesn't. Like you're right, Zidane. He wouldn't get muscled off the ball either. Ozil gets thrown off the ball all the time.
Yeah, if he even ever goes into a shoulder to shoulder challenge, let
Oh
alone
yeah,
a
he
tackle.
he's trying not to be hurt for his like wife or whatever. So like I mean, his main concern is. I mean, how many reports have we seen this year that I've seen him it saying Ozil's focus is no longer football. Like he's moved his focus elsewhere. So like and then he's sitting here bitching on social media. It's like people are backing Ozil over Arteta. Like you got real issues there. Like
Seriously, you're backing a player who hasn't been good in minimum 3 years and who is actively getting paid the highest amount on the team, hasn't played, isn't on the team sheet, and is actively talking shit about the coach and trying to undermine the squad. Like, why do we
yeah.
let this happen? Is the question. It's like, and
Well,
the
I
same
saw
thing is
something.
like,
They're trying to release him in January now because of how bad it is. Because they're trying to get a payout amount on it. It's like you pay him out before. I mean, he sat here and dragged us through the mud. I'd say he stems like a lot of our form dip has to do with him probably behind the scenes riling shit up at the dressing room. He's at the training facility every day. He still has to go there. He's still training with the squad.
Happy
Dude,
to
that's gonna, yeah,
like reports that like, oh, they want to sell him to DC United in January, and he's like, no, I don't want to leave. You motherfucker, you don't want to leave, but you're talking shit and not playing. No
yeah.
player with any kind of respect is taken off the team sheet and then says, I don't want to leave.
They need to
Only
they need to file some like legal action, pay him out of his contract, and be like, listen, with this payout, you need to sign this, and you're no longer allowed to speak about the club, and like and like it's just to the point where it's so ridiculous that we have a player dragging down a club that like Arteta's a young manager. I think he has a lot to learn, but I think that there's probably no better direction than somebody as hungry with as much like managerial
talent.
like mentors that have been in his realm. He's had Wenger and Pep Guardiola in his wheelhouse
Yeah.
to learn from, to come to us to try to grow and try to change the team. I think he is the path forward, and other people think so. If other like Pep Guardiola is not going to just go out on the line. Pep Guardiola is very calculated about everything he says, and he's been like, "You guys need to back Arteta. He's going to be incredible. You need to give him time." Like he wouldn't say that just to say that, just for his friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to get rid of some of the people that are dragging us down.
Well, I mean, I just like we talk
Ozil,
about
Mustafi, those
like,
two could go.
they should have been gone. It's the same. Like
Yeah.
literally, if you rewind to 2017, we were literally saying the same thing.
Oh,
Xhaka,
yeah.
Bellerin,
Hmm.
Mustafi, and Ozil. We need to move on from them.
Yeah.
You know, why was it Alexis Sanchez who left and not Ozil? You know what I mean? If we have Alexis Sanchez right now, with
We're a much better team.
right now, we're in top four. Guaranteed.
Well, because Alexis Sanchez's work rate actually, like even though he's a whiny bitch in most terms of how he is in his life, he actually worked on the field and scored goals. He made shit happen.
He was whining because he was dealing with the same shit that we're talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like,
of course. He would be frustrated.
Trap and pass a ball at one point on the field, and he was pissed off about it. You know,
Yeah,
as I would too. But did him and Aubameyang ever play in the same time?
I think briefly. I
Like
think that sounds like half a season or something.
Maybe a full like a half season and then another season, but he was already kind of like
on the way out.
Yeah.
He kind of dipped in form his last like year because he was like frustrated with the scene. You would be.
Yeah.
It's a frustrating club. I mean, we've been supporting it. I mean, I've been supporting it since I was a kid. You have as well. And like, it's a frustrating team, like, especially the last 10 years, especially when like the fans can see the right path forward. They must know as well, some of them.
You know, I just don't understand it because you look at players like I was watching Serie A highlights yesterday and fucking Mkhitaryan just rips a worldie, you know. He scored a hat trick the other week. And you're just wondering like what is it the board? Is it the structure? Like why is it that players come to Arsenal and seem to just flatten out? Like whatever momentum they have just flattens, like their curve just goes fucking dead. And then they go somewhere else and then they play like Mkhitaryan when he played for Dortmund was a scary player. Then he
he was good.
And Mourinho tried to make him a defensive, player, and that didn't work. Then he came to us, and it was almost like he couldn't run with the ball without tripping and falling on his face. He got worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then he goes, and then he's doing what he did at Dortmund. It's like, why can't we get any kind of quality, even from the players that we somehow managed to get? You know?
I mean, the whole thing is a mess. Like, I'd say Wednesday's match against whoever we play at, Southampton, Gabriel got sent off. And that's the first match that Gabriel didn't play very well in overall. Like he had some mistakes, he had some bad passes. He's probably a little fatigued, probably frustrated that he came to this club and they're just getting beat and he plays defense. It's probably
He's the
like, dude,
22-year-old, comes here, he's a defender, he's a new player, it's his first season, and he's the only player that's playing well. How many
yeah,
games can you do that before you get frustrated?
totally. And his fouls are a young player's mistake. Those two quick yellow cards. That happens. I don't blame him for those. Like he made a mistake. I mean, Walcott got the best of him. I mean, fucking Theo Walcott, of course, scores on us in a goal that he would have scored for Arsenal on a through ball where he just dinks the keeper. That he's done it many times. He did it against Chelsea. He did it like I can't tell you how many times we've seen that goal from him. And of course, you mentioned you're like, watch, Walcott's going to score on us.
Well, it
What
always
happened?
happens. Players
Yeah,
leave us and then they come back and then they fucking just
they haunt us. I
dirty.
saw Out of Context Football on Twitter always post funny stuff, and they had 4 images yesterday. One was Walcott with Arteta in the background and there. Another was Van Persie in a United uniform, Adebayor in one, and then I forgot who the other one was. That was just like God. I mean, it's so symbolic of like, well, oh, Giroud. It's like we let these great players go to our rivals, and
And
they
you,
beat us.
yeah, and you see them realize that this was the right choice,
Yeah,
you know? But even like to Walcott, like at first I was really pissed that I mean, he celebrated as if we were any other team. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Which was
yeah.
like, God, you're a fucking dick. But at the same time, I remember when he left in January, we sold him to Everton.
Everton.
And he said they gave him a trash bag and were like, go clean out your locker. Like he didn't know. He like woke up one morning and they're like, oh, we sold you to Everton. And they're like, can you
Dude,
go clean out your stuff? Like he's a fucking chump. And he was, at one point, he was meant to be, he should have been
incredible,
to be sold
incredible.
to Real
Yeah,
Madrid for $100 million. He should have been a
yeah.
Gareth Bale, a Raheem Sterling. Now,
Hit
why he
injury
didn't reach
problems.
his true potential is another story. But at the same time, he was a dude that was at one point one of the biggest players on our team. Played for
He was
England.
the fastest player in the Premier League multiple seasons in a row. They
Yeah,
always they always they always clock how fast they run. He was easily the quickest player.
for sure.
Yeah.
And to just basically sell him in a panic move to Everton, which we should have sold him like 2 years before that for a high price to a decent team, and then give
Totally.
him a nice
Our, our
farewell and doing
you
all
know,
this stuff.
that's the main thing. As I think the business behind the closed doors, like who's in charge, is really the problem. Like ultimately, it stems from those people,
Yeah.
the Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, whoever is in charge of the 55 scouts getting fired or whatever. The whole thing that they're doing, whatever they're doing behind the scenes, is fucked up because they don't know what they're doing. They've let players go at the wrong times. The whole like it's easy for the fans to see when the form dips to be like time maybe to move on.
Yeah. And I mean, there's been more backroom changes every year than we get in transfer window signings.
Yeah,
You
they're
know?
spending money on that.
We're 15th in the league and we fired all of our scouts.
Yeah, what?
We fired the dude who found Fabregas.
Yeah,
We moved, like
Missalon.
Well, there was
So,
but there was another dude. There was another
yeah,
dude.
another yeah.
Fabregas and Van Persie, and like
Oh yeah, they were
he
a
was
long
like
time ago.
known among scouts as like, Mislintat and that dude were cherished as scouts. We let him go, but I don't see why to give Edu full control when he's a Brazilian and he's just gonna pick every fucking Brazilian. Like they were talking to Edu and he was like, "Well, you can't just expect to get the best out of William right away. Like he needs
Yeah,
time.
why? He
Time.
doesn't need time. He doesn't
Time.
need time.
32. He
And
has no more time.
He's played in the Premier League for forever.
Like, and just to hear that his mentality is like, well, we're betting on William. That's our play is that William is going to really come through. When Chelsea was ready to let him go anyway, they're like, he wouldn't play for this team.
Yeah.
It's just like it's rotten to the core for sure,
It
and I think
is.
it
Yeah.
stems from because the Cronkies are not there, and
They're
every
not.
decision that
And they
gets
don't
made,
care.
yeah, every decision that gets made has to go through them. But they've told everyone at Arsenal, you have no money. The answer is no. you know so every Arsenal has to be like, well, what can we do? Maybe we do this, maybe we do this, but they're shit scared to go to Cronkies because the Cronkies are like, no, the answer is no, no money, we don't have anything for you, we're
Yeah.
definitely not involved in the day to day. And then they come to Josh and they're like, oh shit, we're panicking and shit, the ship's about to sink, and he's like, okay, fine, here's 45 million, go get that one guy you keep bothering me about. And it's like, yeah, but now it's all fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can't, yeah. You're right. It's like it stems from them. So I hope that there's real validity to someone trying to buy us at some point, because we need some sort of savior to help us manage our wealth. Ever since Stan Kroenke took full control of the club, we've gone downhill. Ever since then.
Yeah.
That
And
is the root of it from the beginning.
and can you really think of a single quality decision or a single quality buy that we bought low and sold high, or
No,
just
they've made bad financial decisions the entire time he's been in charge, which is astounding that he's a billionaire like 10 times over and has multiple businesses running like this. I don't understand. I mean, he's gotten richer from owning Arsenal specifically.
for sure.
Like, and so they're just taking money out of the club, bleeding us dry. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, he
It,
uses Arsenal as leverage to borrow money for his other projects, flat out.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know. He doesn't make it a secret. His main project is the Los Angeles Rams now. That's like what he cares about.
Yeah.
He lives in LA. He cares about the Rams. That's he doesn't care about Arsenal.
And I asked you the other day, like, would you take getting relegated for him to sell? But at the same
But
time, it's
rethinking
risky
that
of,
question, yes, actually.
I know, because then you could feel like at least we'll be working in a regular way. And
Well, because if we got relegated, someone knows that Arsenal is more valuable than every championship club and most Premier League clubs. We're like the 10th most valuable club in the world every year. Even right now,
yeah,
even not in Champions League, we're still valuable.
yeah,
So it's probably a $1 to $2 billion thing to buy us. But if we got relegated, they'd be like, oh, let's bail out. This thing's not going to make us any money anymore. So then somebody could swoop us up, and one season we'd probably be back on the bounce.
yeah. I mean, you take like our Europa League team, they would get
They could win the championship.
yeah, they would get promoted
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure. And then we're back in the league with like a new owner, and it would still be a massive rebuild that would take minimum 4 years though.
To be
And
honest, I still would.
after
I
getting
still would.
relegated and promoted again.
I still would want Arteta in that scenario. I don't back him frivolously. Like I just think that he might be the right person mentality wise. Like I think he deep dives into his own thoughts and systems. Like I think he's thinking way bigger than just like we need to string together some wins right now to keep us positioned. We need to build something for the future that's going to be bigger than what it was before. Because like what we fire him, who do we get? Maximo Allegri, and then it's back to square one.
Yeah.
It's
Or
back. It's
sorry.
start all over. Sorry,
Yeah. And or we get someone who can do something until we can find someone else, and then that just extends the rebuild another 1 to 2 years. And you're not even sure, okay, Allegri comes in, what, all of a sudden we're going to be winning the league or something? Like, he was a defensive minded Italian coach who had the best team in Italy and managed to win the league by winning 1-0 and grinding out results. That model won't work for the Premier League,
no,
this Arsenal
no.
squad.
When I keep seeing his name, I'm like, what are we doing? What's what?
Yeah.
Like, why him? What are you talking about? If
Well,
anybody, go for
that's what
Pochettino. I
they
mean,
imagine.
I would go for Pochettino if anybody.
Yeah, I mean, they
Not
imagine
that
that.
he would take the job, but
Yeah, I think what they hope Allegri would do would come in and be like, Ozil, fuck you, you're out of here. Bellerin, fuck you, you're out of here. You know, Xhaka, fuck you, you're out of here. But we've hoped
same
that.
scenario right now.
So, I mean, it's also strange because the weird decisions, you could say the owners are fully rotten, corrupt, stupid, bad businessmen, make terrible decisions. But then I can't understand for the life of me why Emery and Arteta have both continuously, continuously played Jacques and Bell.
Xhaka. Yeah.
Or
I did.
Mustafi's on the
Yeah.
bench looking like he's about to go in.
Yeah.
I don't
It could
even know
only be
why.
it could only be like what we were talking about before. Like, is it contractually written that they need to play? That must be one thing. And then the other thing, I saw some article about or Xhaka, and this probably being the final straw for his red card at Burnley on Sunday. Just out of, I mean, we'll get to that because he's a dumbass. I mean, how many times has he done this? But that could be the nail in the coffin for him. What I read is that he's out in January. But like he apparently he has the most energy and is the most enthusiastic player at the training ground. So that's why he like is a leader. So that's why he keeps getting picked because there's no other leaders. But that's terrible. If he's the best leader, he's a terrible soccer player. He's terrible.
And
Like
he's not a leader. He's like an instigator. It seems
he
like
is.
because
He choked the player on Burnley. First
after
of all,
after fouling him, which could have been a red card in itself, you fouled
yeah,
him.
and then,
You took him out, dude. He should
yeah,
be mad at you and wanting to go at your neck, and then you go
it's
at
just
him.
a,
It's
Jack
like
is. I think Jack is just a dumbass. Like he's dumb. He's like a dumb person. He makes stupid mistakes. Like you, come on. We have VAR now. They can review the play. It's not like it was 5 years ago where you could get away with headbutting someone and not the referee maybe not seeing it. They're watching it now. Like they can easily just be like, oh, that was malicious off the ball. We're going to take a look at it. And
yeah.
what did they do? They took a look at it. He chokes the player on camera.
I
Got to
mean,
get sent off right there. And that's a 3 match ban.
people were really laying into Pepe, but at least I saw that it was his will to win. It was his
Yep.
impatience at he wants form. He wants to get the ball and score a sick goal. He's trying, and a dude tries to punk him, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna deal with that." And it
Yeah.
was, yeah, you shouldn't let a dude get in your head with VAR. It's ridiculous. I mean, 10 years
His
ago,
is different. Yeah.
15 years ago, that's not even a fucking yellow card,
Not at all. Yeah.
but okay, you can't say that because it is now, blah, blah, blah. But at least I look at that and I'm like, his attitude ultimately is like, you can see he wants to win
Yeah.
and that's why he's doing it.
Yeah. And Jack
When
is
Saka
just,
takes the dude out in a position where you're like, why did you do that in the first place? Then gets up and grabs him. You're like, dude, you're mentally broken right now.
yeah,
You're confused, you don't know what's going on, you're making terrible decisions and then trying to overcompensate with violence, an utter liability out there. But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
he's gonna
he's,
wait 3 games, he's gonna start, it's just it.
I hope not. I hope he's done. I hope we need to get rid of him. He is just an error waiting to happen. Every time he's trying to make that challenge in the middle of the park, you know that he is like at risk for a yellow card, red card, or just a bad foul. Like
Or
he's
getting spun for a goal like against Wolves.
yeah,
Like where he
exactly.
goes in for a bad tackle, Traore spins him all day, sends it through, and they score.
How many times he can't defend, he can't pass, like he gives the ball away a lot. He can't shoot, like he gets sent off.
Yeah,
What does he get?
it goes back to like attributes of a player. And
Yep.
a player is bought because they have 2 or 3 qualities, maybe only one, because it's really hard at that level to even have. It's like tennis. Like you have a forehand, that's as a weapon, then sometimes that's all you have. A serve
Yeah.
and a forehand. If you
Yep.
can have 2 or 3 weapons, you know, then you're like absolutely world class. But it's hard to even have one. But you're
For
bought
sure.
in soccer, you're bought for that one, what quality? Because we need someone who can do X, Y, Z, you know? And it's very rare that a player is bought for certain qualities and has managed to transition into having other qualities. But it does happen, but it's very rare. Like
Yep.
Philip Lahm was a right back, but sometimes he played a defensive center mid, and he ended up being good because he's so talented. That's rare. But
Yep.
you look at a player like Xhaka, what are his attributes? If he's a tennis player, what are his weapons? You say he's not good at the net. His
Yep.
forehand is not a weapon. He's prone to getting a lot of double faults. His unforced
Yeah.
error count is high. It's always
Yeah.
more than his winners per
His
match.
his ejection rate is high.
Yeah, like as a tennis player,
Disqualification.
you don't rank him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, yeah, he would have, yeah,
He's that
totally.
player, to go far. Or you look at like Bellerin. Okay, he was bought because he was a super fast attacking outside back. Fair enough. And he
Yeah.
was he fit that profile. He
Not
gets
anymore.
tears his ACL, he comes back, he has no pace. So his profile is now what are you? What are you?
Yeah.
What are you,
It,
dude? And I'm
it's time to
looking
move. It's time to move on.
I mean, I'm looking at
Like he would be good in Spain. Like Bellerin would be fine in Spain. He could go play there. His pace would be quick enough. He doesn't need the pace that they need in the Premier League.
yeah.
It's like,
And that's where he comes back. You realize he's not the player that we thought he was. And this is I'm talking about when did he come back? 2017 or something
yeah,
by now?
somewhere around there. Yeah.
And so you realize, okay, he's not really the player he was. Let's give him a nice sending off and thank him for his time. Off the field, people seem to really like the guy for some fucking reason. He's
Yep.
the way he carries himself is somehow marketable, even though I can't fucking stand it personally, but
Same. Yeah.
it has this thing to it. So, okay, we sell him to Villarreal, make it a big deal, and wish him well and thank him on his birthday every year. But he's gone, and we sell him for 35. In those years, we could have gotten 35, 45 million for him.
Easily. Now he's like 15.
Now, yeah, who's
What?
gonna
Yeah.
buy Bellerin for what would you pay for Bellerin? What is another team gonna pay for him?
He's not worth that much. That's for sure.
Because if you're Villarreal, where Emery is right now, and you're looking at Bellerin, what do you say? I want to get this guy because of what?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
even
look. Well, look. Bellerin and Xhaka weren't in the team on Wednesday because they both were suspended, and we didn't lose.
yeah,
There you go. We
they
didn't win, but
play
we didn't
in Europa.
lose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't play in
I mean,
Europa. We've won every game. There
they
is
didn't play
something
on
to
Wednesday,
that.
and we yeah, it is. You've been saying it for a long time, and dude, they're garbage. I was happy on the one benefit on Sunday's loss against Burnley is that we both didn't have to watch Jack and Bellerin play on Wednesday.
Yeah, and that's
And Jack is out tomorrow, which thank God. And maybe he won't start Bellerin tomorrow, but he's going to. And it's like, but why?
I just saw Arsenal posted something, and Bellerin is talking to old people who had COVID, and he's giggling and laughing and joking around. Like, dude, you have been with this club as they continue to fucking plummet. And every time I see him off the field, the motherfucker's smiling, giggling, laughing,
Yeah,
wearing stupid ass clothes like he's fucking. I
from the
mean,
20s.
if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldo, there's that picture of him in the pink Daisy Dukes, you know what I mean, and the aviators looking just
Dude,
ridiculous.
he can wear whatever he wants.
Yeah, but you're like, well, that dude is insane. He could wear a fucking gold suit or something like that, and you'd be like, well, that's fucking Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Bellerin, when he does that shit, you're like, who the fuck are you, dude? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can't do that. You can't be balling. And there's something that I think Ozil really started, which is like, oh, well, when the game's over, I'm a celebrity. So I'm not really going to be that upset if we lost. Why do I care? So
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
so all the hardcore fans are getting depressed by the week, but these guys don't. They truly don't care, you know. And they say they
Yeah.
do, and they want to try, and they want to,
I
but
mean, these people still backing Ozil are just dumbasses. Like, pull your head out of your ass, man. He's just he's not the solution at all.
no.
He's gone. Like he's on the way out. He's never gonna play for us. Like even if he played until May, like he isn't gonna help us,
Yeah, like what do they think that he would have done against Wolves? What do they think that he would have done
right?
against, you
They,
know,
they must not watch the games tactically, like how the game works. Like, dude, there's a level of intensity that needs to be going on that none of them are displaying.
yeah. And dude, Ozil is not a player who gets the ball deep. He's not like Messi who will sink back, get the ball, and then just power forward and create stuff and then pass and then shoot. Like he's a
If
dude,
not score on, if not score on his own,
yeah. Like he's a dude who somehow stands there. You pass it to him, and then he knows how to play a
change
ball,
the yeah.
which is okay, fine, but he needs so much already to just do one little thing that you hope will work
He
out.
he's not a game changer like Messi and Ronaldo, like or just even De Bruyne. Other teams don't have their own version of it. They're game changers. They're a player that you give the ball to, and that things are going to happen because they want them to happen. They know how to make it happen. And Ozil isn't that player. He he has a pass that's good here and there every now and again, but his work rate is not the kind that's going to ever move the game forward.
No, he's a hider. He hides.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the problem. Xhaka hides.
yeah.
That's why like you can't always see why he's so bad and people are like, "Oh, he's not really that bad. It's not like he gets an own goal every game or something." And but he hides. He
Yeah, he's just
hides.
not. He's not
Playing
on
with
the field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're playing with a man down and it's even worse because it's sucking the energy out of the team.
Well,
You
and of
know?
course, he cost us the game on Sunday. I mean, let's talk about Burnley for a few minutes. Like he, we were dominating the game, like creating way more chances, and he gets sent off for something stupid, and the game changed.
Yeah,
As bad as we are with him on the field, we should have won Sunday's match. We needed to win Sunday's match.
totally.
and
To-
and and his dumb mistake cost us the game, like completely. You I would say that you could give almost all of the blame to him for that loss specifically.
I mean, we were struggling to create chances with 11. Then you
Yeah.
go down to 10 men and it's like it goes out the window. You have to defend and not lose. We ended up losing.
Yeah.
Unlucky own goal, but it was bound something was bound to happen. You know, I was watching that game and I was like, it seems more likely that they're going to go down the field, cross it, and score a header than we are going to break through their defense and score. You know, and that was with Jock on the field. Then he goes off the field, and it's like, well, now we have one option: is keep them from scoring.
Well, we just have no ideas either. I mean, we have no creativity. There's no one pulling the strings and really pulling us out of the depths when we can't find the net. Like there's got to be that player. We said it in the summer. We stressed it a lot. We are like, you need to buy a center attacking midfielder.
And the worst part about it is with self-sustaining model and all that blah blah blah. Like we could have sold Bellerin and Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Lucas Torreira, and you're expect if we could have gotten even say 60 million out of those three, which is a
Yeah, yeah,
conservative. It's a conservative estimate.
yeah.
You know, say 20
A
million.
wa, a wa, a, wa- I would have bought a war easily.
What you get rid of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who, whether you like him or not, I was never really convinced on him. But now it's like when Jock is so bad, it's like play Ainsley Maitland-Niles. You know what I mean? But then Ainsley
Dude,
Maitland-Niles plays terrible, and you're like,
but
play Jacka. You know, like he's on the bubble. Get rid of him.
yeah,
Get rid of fucking Bellerin because now you have the chance. Lucas Torreira, I liked. I don't know what happened to him, but he was out of it. He wants to leave, so sell him and then buy fucking Awar with the money, and then we could have done that and been a net positive £5
yep.
million, a net positive. We get rid of three players who don't want to be there or who are straight up liabilities, or just not
Totally.
good enough, or just not good enough. And we
Yeah.
have OR, which we need, which is an attacking center mid, which everyone knows. And if you say like, oh well, we need squad players, we have a fucking huge squad of young players that put them in there, you know?
I know.
Like
Why aren't they? I mean, I'm happy that he started in Kedia on Wednesday. Like,
leading goal scorer in all competitions.
you
And
got to start him. I mean, at least Aubameyang has 2 goals in 2 games now, though. At least,
which is uh which is a low amount for him.
dude. He hopefully that goal on Wednesday sparked a little bit of fire, and will give him a little bit of form. I mean, Lacazette scored one 2 weeks ago that was a banger. So hopefully these guys can start finding the net. Like we got to. I mean, we have a hard game tomorrow. We play Everton tomorrow.
Yeah. Which
I'm
used to
I'm
be a
Which used
game
to be an easy game.
we
I
loved.
used to look forward to going to
I know.
Everton.
They always beat Everton, you know. We had never lost a
6-0
game.
on the season opener years ago. Remember that one?
Yeah, with Danielson scoring that.
Danielson has buried that. I mean, Bettner scored in that game.
Oh man. It's
I mean that. I mean, tomorrow is going to be hard to get a point. Let alone the 3 that we haven't been finding any form lately. So
because where's it gonna come from, you know? Like, and then you see like Lacazette who scored that banger, and then now he's not even playing, you know? Like the dude can't get
yeah,
any kind of
why
rhythm.
didn't he play on Wednesday at all? He subbed. He took Cedric. He put Cedric on, but doesn't put Lacazette on with 15 minutes to go. It's 1-1. Like I I don't know if you've looked at the table, but we needed a win.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some things with Arteta that I don't know why he's doing what he does, you know?
Yeah.
But right now we're at a place where when everything is going wrong, you tend to question things that normally you wouldn't even question, you know?
Yeah.
Or you tend
Totally.
to, like, we keep passing the buck in terms of who's going to be the dude that steps up, you know, and it just falls into someone's lap because everyone else is doing poorly, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this, you
I
know?
mean, they're all playing bad. Like
Yeah, I mean,
besides Gabriel, I'd say Gabriel's been the best player this season.
yeah.
Gabriel and Leno,
Uh,
those two.
Leno's been. It's weird too because he hasn't had a lot to do.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
they've been defending better. I'd say the one improvement that we could say, even though we've lost games. There's games that we've lost though that we just didn't score goals, and that's the reason we lost the game.
yeah,
Like, the defense can only hold them off for so long. In the Premier League, it's inevitable that you're going to concede goals. Like, no matter how good you are, like people get scored on. So it's one of those things that at least he shored up the back a little bit. Since Arteta's come, we've gotten better defensively.
yeah. But then you still look at like Holding, who is
Yeah,
he's
not
like
good enough.
on the bubble, but people are like on the bubble, they're on the cusp, and they've completely slid back down instead of gotten over the hump, you know?
We're not that club that like buys like it gets rid of like a bunch of players and buys new players in one season, but we should be. That like this summer was the opportunity to dump a lot of the fringe players that have been there for a long time that have no business being at the club. Just simply not good enough.
Who are the players whose contracts run out in the summer?
We have a lot actually. There's like a lot of players up for it. I don't know. That'd be something to look at because there's a lot on there that were like Lacazette
Really?
or the year after. He's in a renewal year right now.
Because I mean, if Lacazette leaves for free, that would be stupid.
Bad business.
I mean,
Business.
we got nothing out of him really. He never got a good run of
Yeah,
games.
I think we either need to sell him this summer or we need to extend.
I mean, I like him. I want him to do well, but if you're not going to play him, sell him.
Yeah.
You're not going to play Ainsley Maitland-Niles. sell him. If you're not going to play Reese Nelson, if Reese Nelson is never going to play in the league, if he's only going to play in the minor competitions and score a bunch of goals, but never going to play in the league, you have to sell him.
Totally.
Like, I just don't understand this. We keep a player and then we don't play him. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that
It
you
makes
could
no sense.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, what the heck is going on? You know? And you got players like Guendouzi he's starting at Hertha and playing, and the coach really likes him, you know? I don't trust that dude. And did you see the thing with Saliba?
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so, I mean, another thing, like Guendouzi, I think is a ticking time bomb. I think we should sell him for as
Yeah.
much as we can get. But we're probably going to bring him back and then fight with him and then not play him. And then 10 years later, we're going to let him go for free when he's just.
We don't ever sell the player after their loan deal, which we should. Like, your loan's done, why don't you stay there? You like it there, you're
Like
settled, you got an apartment, just stay there.
Calum Chambers, dude.
Yeah.
He's been loaned twice. He always plays better when he's loaned, and then he comes back and immediately gets injured.
Gets hurt.
Yeah. Like, why haven't we moved on from him? If you're going to loan a player, then you either use him or you sell him.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson was loaned, come back and is not playing. Chambers, Guendouzi, hopefully we sell. You know, what's the deal? And then you have Saliba, which is like, if nothing else was happening behind the scenes, if everything else was running like a well-oiled machine, and it was only Saliba, that would be a huge controversy, because what in the fuck is
going on? Yeah.
Saliba?
Yeah. I know. It's weird. It's a weird one.
Is he another person who told Arteta "fuck you" to his face, and Arteta's like, "I can't play you"? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
That happened because he's talking shit on social media, and we're all hearing that he's not ready for the Premier League, that he needs a transition year, and he's like, we thought he was going to be Gabriel.
Isn't he wants out, right?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it's a 2-year project and he's not on the team sheet. He's not injured. Like,
I know we loaned him out like last year. I saw something where someone had said like Arteta didn't want to play him because he was Emery signing and like that he wasn't good enough. But
then you have someone like Rob Holding who has not been good enough.
Oh, Rob Holding's is basic. He's just Rob Holding wouldn't get into most Premier League center back teams.
No. And why does the ball keep falling to him in the box too? He's had like 2 free headers and 1 shot where it just bounced and landed to him and he kicked it. Like, why isn't that falling to Aubameyang or Lacazette? You know what I mean?
Totally.
But just there's things like that with Saliba. Like, whatever that situation is, it's a drain on the team atmosphere. It has to be, because you have some dude who's ambiguously unhappy and everyone is thinking like, I thought he was going to start.
Yeah.
You know, you have people like Pablo Marie who are like, either he's good enough to play. You're a defender. You're either good enough or you're not. It's very clear. It's like either you're strong and can pass the ball, or you can't. And if you can't, then why did we bring him in here? We brought him in here because he was cheap and the club was willing to sell him. That's the only reason, because we can't get anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, we have players like that all over the field.
Yeah.
You know what's weird though is I think besides the center attacking midfielder, we have some goal scorers in the team, like plenty of them. It's weird that they can't find the goal somehow. I mean, I get that we can't build the whole thing together, but even when the crossing's been bad, the passing's been bad. No one's shooting. I mean, Aubameyang got the ball in the box the other day. He was like in alone on the left side and decided to make this like weak pass, and it went right to the goalie. A confident Aubameyang would have tried to put that in the goal.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame Aubameyang because, when you're the only player playing, like you can't expect him to bail us out every single game. They were saying
Yeah,
we were too reliant upon him last year when he was in form. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah. They
sometimes like
gotta. We
runs
don't have enough fire. Uh,
and Pepe on the right, I never liked it, but he's seemingly gonna always play on the right. He'll never play on the left where he's comfortable and can get the ball, or in the middle where he can get the ball. It's never gonna happen. He's gonna be on the right. It doesn't work there, but that's the only place we can play him, you
yeah,
know?
it's frustrating. What do you think for tomorrow?
I still think Everton are beatable as a
Yeah,
team. I don't know if we
I
can beat
don't.
them. But,
Yeah,
watching this team in the past 5 or 6 games, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We could be playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, and then we could be playing Northampton and Luton Town, and then we can be playing Bayern Munich, and then we can be playing Cardiff City, and it will all look like we're playing the same team.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We played Tottenham, who's the top, and Burnley, who's at the bottom, and it
Look,
looked like the same game. We had a
yeah.
thousand crosses, one goal,
All the possession.
a bunch of meaningless possession. Like Ceballos has gone
I
off
mean,
off
I'm
the
not a. I'm not a fan.
he uh, like
He's
just
too
absolutely
slow. Too slow.
terrible. His passing is terrible. He's gone off. He's gone
I
off.
feel like every time he passes the ball, he falls. It's just
I mean, he got into the box and then immediately like fell down, and it's like, dude, just try to score first.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And like also too, just on a very basic level, I look at like Bellerin, I look at Ceballos, I look at these players, look at their legs. Look at Raheem Sterling's legs and Aguero's legs and KDB's legs, their
yep,
quads, and then
are
look at our
huge.
player quads.
Yeah,
Ceballos, dude, is not strong enough, dude. The dude could
mm-mm.
barely squat like 135, I bet.
Totally. He's not.
Like
Yeah, just not.
this is the Premier League, dude. You have to bulk up. It's like when you go to the NBA from college and they're like, okay, you need to gain 45 pounds of muscle. Sorry,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you try to go up against some second string center in the NBA from college, and the dude will fucking punk you.
yeah.
Will fucking just
Totally. Yeah.
throw you
I mean,
down.
that's why I'm excited for Martinelli to come back and play. He's in full training. He's got to get the look at some point. He got big. He looks bigger. Like
Jacked.
I jacked because you got to be strong. Like Ronaldo, when he came to United, was scrawny and small, and he spent the first summer there. He said it he was like I was playing and I was like a little too small and too fragile. He's like I spent the whole summer when everybody went on holiday. I just stayed at the facility and I trained 3 times a day and I got bigger. And
Yeah,
now,
no,
and now look at him.
he was fucking jacked,
He
dude.
was huge. I mean, he's probably one of the most ripped humans on the planet. Like I
Yeah,
mean, that dude, he could consume whatever he wants. But he's a machine.
yeah,
He treats his body like a machine. That's why he's 35 years old and still killing it.
yeah. But I mean,
He'll probably be the first superstar, I think, to be like around 40 playing and still balling. Like he'll go to the MLS next.
besides Zlatan, who is
And
top,
Zlatan is
top
also a
50
beast. Also a beast.
for sure. You have to be physically fit.
You
When
do.
does the definition of being fit become you're not injured?
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
fit.
fit.
Fit
Fit,
is like your body is operating perfectly.
yeah. It's hard. It's a really
Yeah.
hard standard to meet.
Lewandowski,
Jacked.
jacked.
Look at
And
Reese.
look at how good it is.
Then look at Reese Nelson.
Not
The dude,
jacked.
he looks like a kid. They look
Yeah.
like a kid because they're not big enough.
Willick, not
Yeah.
big enough.
And I partly blame coronavirus because they didn't get a preseason to get jacked, and that's where if I would have expected from hanging out with Pep Guardiola that Arteta would be
Oh,
like, okay,
he
hell week,
knows.
like hell month, you
Yeah,
know, January or July is everyone is getting fit. And if you're not at a certain level of fitness come August, you're not gonna make the team. Just
yeah,
0% chance you're gonna make the team because we only have
totally. Yeah,
people who can if you can operate at this level, then you have a chance. And if not, then not, then no.
yeah. I did read. For the first time, I read an article on BBC last night that was like took into consideration the conditions as well. Not just like talking for Arteta to get sacked, but like maybe give him time because of this. We had no preseason. We went straight into he started last year around this time and won the FA Cup and the Community Shield. We shouldn't forget that. We did win 2 trophies with this manager.
Yeah.
And they were playing some really good football not that long ago. I mean, they're
Yeah.
just having like a really big dip in form. Something's going on right now
Well, I
that they
think
need to figure out.
well, I think that the squad is running on fumes from last
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
Arteta is just trying to put people out there who can survive on their legs. And I think his strategy and tactics of what he would like to do with the team is continually taking a further and further back seat because you don't have time to implement any kind of tactical formation. Like when last year when he first came in, they were a high press team looking to get in behind, kind of like City. And you were seeing that when we beat Manchester United, we were all over them. We looked like a Manchester City style team. And now we're not doing that, but I feel like it's these people just like they're running out of steam from last season. We didn't really
Oh
get
yeah.
any new reserves. So
I
I still think if we can somehow stay up, then give him the summer and then really judge him.
yeah,
But
I agree. I think it's gonna take time. I'm he's gonna want to win tomorrow, having been a player at Everton.
yeah. But I mean, it's sad too because I think
I'm
Usmanov is that Everton? I heard that
um
somewhere that he was.
oh yeah, Ushmanov. Did he
Yeah.
buy Everton?
Or I think he bought into Everton or something. That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
heard.
He
But
he was trying to, yeah.
like they have Carlo Ancelotti. Why didn't he go to Arsenal?
Yeah.
They have James Rodriguez. Why would he go to Everton over Arsenal?
Yeah.
They bought Gylfi Sigurdsson for 55 million pounds. That was maybe a bad buy, but they're outspending us. They're out
I
trying.
know.
Now
I
they're
fear I fear we're gonna lose tomorrow.
you just it's gotten to the point where you're not confident about them
That
doing anything. You're hoping,
they can pull it through.
hoping,
Yeah.
praying. It's basically that because we don't have. There's nowhere where we're like, okay, Aubameyang's going to score, or Saka is going to get an assist, or you just can't expect any results from anywhere.
And we
So
can't rely on Saka either. He's a kid.
yeah,
Like we need
and
to give him time to
he
develop.
he created that goal. Really,
Yeah, he did.
finally, he took someone on and actually beat someone. Which
Yeah.
most players are basically
I,
refuse to do.
I think they're suffering from lack of confidence right now as well because they can't get a win. So that seeks in deep. Then the media, they see it all the time. I'm sure it's inevitable. That they go home and turn on Sky Sports.
Yeah,
It would
it's
be impossible not to in that position. They literally like talk about you on TV sometimes. So like you'd be like, I want to know what the other teams are doing. I want to know what's going on with the other teams. That's how I find out about what's going on with them.
yeah,
So like they know the same shit that we know.
totally. And that's why it's so strange. You see like Bellerin just prancing around in women's underwear and smiling from ear to ear as if we just won the Champions League or something.
Yeah,
Like he must just
totally.
tune it out completely and be like, when I'm off the field, I live in my own fantasy world.
Yeah.
Everyone tells me I'm great. So unbelievable.
Well, I don't have a prediction for tomorrow because I really have no idea.
Yeah, I think predictions are out the window.
I hope that we don't lose.
So is
We,
Bellerin still out?
I think he only had a 1-match ban. I know Jack is out. He has a 3-match ban. Xhaka isn't eligible until January 2nd, and the window's open. I say we let him go at that point.
It would. Do you really want him to play again?
Never.
That
I
was
don't
his
ever
last
want to.
game. Wouldn't that just
I,
be kind of the period at the end of that sentence?
for any other player as well, that would be a good statement.
Yeah. And this is a dude who has been captain.
Yeah. Time to go. Well, I'm sure we'll chat tomorrow and join us next week. Are we going to do next week? It's Christmas.
A special holiday issue, Christmas episode.
I can do it. I can do it next Friday. You let me know if you're available. If not, we'll be back the week after.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe a Boxing Day something. We'll talk about it, but
yeah, we'll figure it out. But we'll be back to hopefully better times at some point.
You never know. We could be back here happy and cheering, or we could be where we still are. You never
In
know.
commisery. Well, as always, nice chat, mate.
Yes.
Join us next time. Thanks for joining us.
Peace.
Talk soon. Cheers.